This could be the most devastating winter storm in a decade, and if you live anywhere from Texas to Maine, the next 72 hours will change everything. Right now, as I speak, meteorological models are showing ice accumulations that will snap power lines like toothpicks. We are talking about over 100 million Americans in the direct path of this historic weather event. Here is what you need to know in the next 4 minutes. Where the ice will be catastrophic, which cities will see record snowfall, and most importantly, what you must do right now to protect yourself and your family. Every 15 seconds, I am going to give you critical data that could save your property, maybe even your life. So stay with me, because at the 30-second mark, I am revealing the 2 zones where this storm will be absolutely catastrophic. And here it is. Zone number 1, northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, western Tennessee, and northern Mississippi. Zone number 2, northeast Georgia, northwest South Carolina, all of North Carolina, and southeast Virginia. These 2 regions are facing ice storms of historic proportions. We are not talking about a dusting, we are talking about 3/4 of an inch to 1 full inch of ice accumulation. What does that mean? Picture this. Every tree branch coated in nearly 1 inch of solid ice. The weight becomes unbearable. Branches snap, they crash onto power lines, transformers explode, and suddenly hundreds of thousands of homes go dark. In January, in freezing temperatures, for potentially more than 1 week. But wait, there is more shocking data coming at you right now. The European forecast model, which has been the most accurate for this storm system, shows that some areas could experience 12 consecutive hours of freezing rain. 12 hours. That is not a quick ice event. That is a prolonged assault on infrastructure. Now, why should you believe these predictions? Because every major forecasting system is showing agreement. The national blend of models, which combines multiple computer forecasts and typically gives conservative estimates, is showing ice accumulation numbers that are frankly terrifying. Even their conservative forecast puts close to 1 inch of ice near the Mississippi River region. Let me put this in perspective for you. A 1/2 inch of ice accumulation is enough to bring down power lines. 3/4 of an inch causes catastrophic tree damage. 1 full inch? That is a disaster scenario. Roads become impassable. Emergency services cannot reach you. Hospitals run on backup generators. This is not an exaggeration. This is meteorological reality. And here is the twist you did not see coming. While everyone is focused on the ice, there is a massive snow component to this storm that will bury cities from Oklahoma to Boston. We are talking about 15 to 18 inches of snow in areas that have not seen a storm this big in 10 years. But before I break down every state and every city, let me tell you about the timing. This is crucial. The storm begins Friday night, January 23rd, with heavy snow developing in Kansas. By Saturday morning, January 24th at 1 a.m., we will see significant snow across Kansas and the beginning of that dangerous mixed precipitation over Texas and Oklahoma. By Saturday afternoon, the freezing rain zone expands dramatically into Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. This is when zone number 1 really gets hit hard. Meanwhile, heavy snow races eastward, slamming into St. Louis, then pushing into Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio by Saturday evening. Sunday morning, January 25th, is when zone number 2 faces its nightmare scenario. That is when northeast Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia get pounded with prolonged freezing rain. Trees will come down, power will fail. And by Sunday afternoon, the major cities of the Northeast, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston, they all get hammered with heavy snow. Monday brings more snow to New England, and by Tuesday morning, it is finally over. But the aftermath, that could last for weeks. Now let me break this down state by state, city by city. Comment below where you live, and I will personally give you the most up-to-date forecast for your exact location. Seriously, drop your city name in the comments right now and let us build the most comprehensive community weather watch in America. Let us start in Texas. Dallas, you are looking at an interesting situation. You start with cold rain Friday night, but that quickly transitions to freezing rain Saturday morning. Expect a 1/4 inch to potentially a 1/2 inch of ice accumulation. Power outages are likely in northern suburbs. Amarillo, you are in the snow zone. 7 to 9 inches of heavy snow, possibly more in some areas. El Paso, you stay dry. Houston, you get rain, maybe some thunderstorms, but you avoid the worst. San Antonio stays mostly rainy. Oklahoma, here is your forecast. Oklahoma City sits right in that dangerous transition zone. You could see 6 to 8 inches of snow on the northern edge of the city, but southern sections might mix with sleet and freezing rain. Tulsa, you are looking at 8 to 10 inches of snow with some ice mixing in on the back end. Norman, similar story, 6 to 9 inches with a sharp cutoff to the south where ice takes over. Arkansas, this is where things get really serious. Little Rock, you are in trouble. 2 to 4 inches of snow, 2 to 4 inches of sleet, and potentially a half inch of ice. This is a compound disaster. Roads will be completely impassable. Fort Smith gets 8 inches of snow. But Texarkana and the southern tier of Arkansas, you face devastating ice accumulation, potentially 3/4 of an inch. Louisiana, northern Louisiana, you are in catastrophic ice zone number 1. Shreveport, Monroe, you are looking at prolonged freezing rain Saturday into Sunday. Ice accumulation could exceed 3/4 of an inch. This will be one of the worst ice storms in your region's history. Prepare for extended power outages. Baton Rouge and New Orleans, you get heavy rain, maybe some thunderstorms, but you stay too warm for ice or snow. Mississippi, northern Mississippi is facing a similar catastrophic scenario. Tupelo, you could see 3/4 of an inch of ice accumulation. That is devastating. Jackson sees a messy mix of sleet, freezing rain, and maybe 2 inches of snow. South Haven and Olive Branch near Memphis, significant icing is expected. Power outages lasting a week or more are possible in these areas. Tennessee, this state sees everything. Memphis gets a nasty mix, maybe 3 to 4 inches of snow, some sleet, and freezing rain. Not as much ice as areas to the south, but still problematic. Nashville, you are right on that razor-sharp cutoff line. Northern suburbs could see 4 to 6 inches of snow. Southern Nashville might see 1 to 2 inches with more ice mixing in. Clarksville, you are looking at 3 to 6 inches. Bowling Green gets a solid 6 to 8 inches. Knoxville and eastern Tennessee, here is the bad news. Earlier models showed 2 feet of snow for you. That is gone. Warm air is infiltrating. You might see rain mixing with snow, and totals will be much lower, probably 2 to 4 inches at best. Kentucky, you are in the sweet spot for heavy snow. Louisville, 8 to 10 inches of heavy snow Saturday into Sunday. Lexington, you could see close to 12 inches. This will be the biggest snowstorm in years. Bowling Green, 8 to 10 inches. Paducah in western Kentucky, 6 to 8 inches with some sleet possible. Missouri, Kansas City, you are on the northern fringe but still in play for 3 to 6 inches of snow. If the storm tracks slightly north, you could see 8 inches. St. Louis, 3 to 6 inches is likely, but again, if we see a northward shift, 8 to 10 inches is absolutely possible. Springfield, close to 10 inches of snow. Branson, 8 to 10 inches. Jackson in southeast Missouri, 10 inches is very likely. Kansas, Wichita, you are a lock for at least 8 inches of snow, maybe 10. Topeka, similar numbers, 6 to 9 inches. Kansas is getting a significant winter storm, no question. Indiana, Indianapolis, 6 to 9 inches of snow is possible. Evansville in southern Indiana, 6 to 8 inches. Fort Wayne, 7 to 10 inches. South Bend, 8 to 12 inches. The northern parts of Indiana do very well with this system. Ohio, this state gets plastered. Columbus, 10 inches of snow. Cincinnati, close to 12 inches. Dayton, 10 inches. Cleveland, 8 to 10 inches. Toledo, 9 to 12 inches. Akron, 10 to 12 inches. Ohio is looking at a major winter storm with widespread significant accumulations. West Virginia, Charleston, 8 to 10 inches of snow. Huntington, similar. Morgantown, 10 to 12 inches. Parkersburg, 8 to 10 inches. This is a big snow event for West Virginia. This is where it gets complicated. Northern Virginia and the Shenandoah Valley, Harrisonburg, Winchester, Front Royal, you are looking at over 12 inches of snow. Richmond, you get close to the warm line, maybe 6 to 9 inches, but there is uncertainty. Roanoke, 8 to 10 inches. But here is the critical part. Southwest Virginia and areas southeast of the Appalachian Mountains, Danville, South Boston, you are entering catastrophic ice zone number 2. Prolonged freezing rain Sunday. Over a half inch of ice accumulation. Trees will snap. Power will fail. North Carolina, the entire state gets hit, but in different ways. Charlotte, this is tough to forecast, but right now it looks like 4 to 6 inches of snow with some sleet and freezing rain mixing in. Raleigh, Durham, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, you are all in catastrophic ice zone number 2. Prolonged freezing rain Sunday into Sunday night. Ice accumulation over a half inch, possibly 3/4 of an inch in some spots. This will be devastating. Asheville in the mountains, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Wilmington stays too warm, mostly rain. South Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg, you are in the ice zone. Significant ice accumulation over a half-inch. Extended power outages are likely. Columbia gets a mix of sleet and freezing rain. Charleston stays rainy. Georgia, northern Georgia, you face significant ice. Athens, Gainesville, Dalton, prolonged freezing rain Sunday. Ice accumulation over a half-inch. Atlanta, this is tricky, but it looks like you get on the northern edge of some ice and sleet. Not as bad as areas to your north, but still problematic. Southern Georgia stays rainy. Maryland, this state sees big snow. Baltimore, 10 to 14 inches possible. Frederick, 12 to 16 inches. Hagerstown, over 12 inches. This could be the biggest snowstorm in a decade for Maryland. Salisbury on the eastern shore, 6 to 10 inches. Delaware, Wilmington, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Dover, similar, 8 to 12 inches. This is a significant event for Delaware. Pennsylvania, massive snow totals. Philadelphia, this is the hardest forecast on Earth, but right now it looks like 8 to 14 inches depending on exact storm track. Harrisburg, 12 to 16 inches. Allentown, 12 to 16 inches. Scranton, 12 to 16 inches. Pittsburgh, 10 to 12 inches. Erie, 8 to 12 inches. Reading, 12 to 16 inches. Pennsylvania is getting buried. New Jersey, northern New Jersey, you could see the biggest snowstorm in a decade. Newark, Trenton, looking at 10 to 16 inches. Atlantic City and the shore, 6 to 10 inches. This is a major winter storm for the Garden State. New York, this is where it gets really interesting. New York City, the 5 boroughs, this is notoriously difficult to forecast, but right now models suggest 8 to 14 inches of snow. If you end up on the cold side of this system, this is a historic storm. If warm air sneaks in, totals drop. Albany, 12 to 16 inches. Syracuse, 12 to 16 inches. Rochester, 10 to 14 inches. Buffalo, 8 to 12 inches. Binghamton, 10 to 14 inches. The entire state of New York is in play for significant snow. Connecticut, Hartford, 10 to 14 inches. New Haven, 8 to 12 inches. Stamford and the southwestern coast, 6 to 10 inches. This is a big storm for Connecticut. Massachusetts, Boston, this could be the biggest snowstorm in 10 years. 12 to 18 inches of snow is possible if the storm tracks right. Worcester, 14 to 18 inches. Springfield, 12 to 16 inches. Plymouth, 12 to 18 inches. The entire state is looking at significant snowfall. Rhode Island, Providence, 10 to 16 inches. This is a major winter storm for Rhode Island, Vermont, Burlington, 12 to 16 inches. Montpelier, 14 to 18 inches. Brattleboro, 12 to 16 inches. Vermont is getting crushed with snow. New Hampshire, Concord, Manchester, 14 to 18 inches. Portsmouth, 12 to 16 inches. This is a massive snowstorm for New Hampshire, Maine, Portland, 12 to 18 inches. Bangor, 10 to 16 inches. Augusta, 12 to 16 inches. Maine finishes off this storm system with very heavy snow. Now let me add more detail for states we have not fully covered yet. Alabama, northern Alabama is on the southern edge of the ice zone. Huntsville, Florence, you might see some sleet and freezing rain mix, maybe a quarter-inch of ice. Birmingham stays mostly rainy with temperatures just above freezing. Mobile and southern Alabama see only rain. Florida, you are completely out of this system. Miami, Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, you all stay warm and mostly dry. Maybe some clouds, but no winter weather for you. Illinois, this is an interesting state for this storm. Chicago, you are on the far northern edge. Right now, it looks like you might see 2 to 4 inches of snow, but there is uncertainty. If the storm tracks north, you could see 6 inches. Springfield, 4 to 6 inches. Peoria, 4 to 6 inches. Carbondale in southern Illinois, 5 to 8 inches. The southern part of the state does better than the north with this system. Iowa, Des Moines, you are looking at 3 to 5 inches of snow. Cedar Rapids, similar, 3 to 5 inches. Sioux City in western Iowa, 2 to 4 inches. This is not a huge storm for Iowa, but it is still worth preparing for. Wisconsin, Milwaukee, you might catch the northern fringe of this system. Right now it looks like 1 to 3 inches. Madison, similar, 1 to 3 inches. Green Bay, 1 to 2 inches. This storm mostly misses Wisconsin, Michigan, Detroit. You are on the northern edge. 3 to 6 inches of snow is possible. Grand Rapids, 4 to 7 inches. Lansing, 4 to 7 inches. The southern part of Michigan gets in on this storm, but northern Michigan mostly misses it. Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul, you are too far north for this system, maybe an inch or less. Duluth, you stay mostly quiet. This storm tracks well south of Minnesota. Nebraska, Omaha, you might see 2 to 4 inches on the southeastern edge. Lincoln, similar, 2 to 4 inches. Western Nebraska stays mostly dry. This is not a major storm for Nebraska. Now here is what you are not hearing from other forecasters. The timing of this ice accumulation is the most dangerous aspect. 12 hours of continuous freezing rain is almost unheard of. Most ice storms last 3 to 4 hours. 12 hours means the ice builds up slowly but relentlessly. Tree branches cannot handle it. Power infrastructure fails in waves. And here is another critical detail. This storm is hitting on a weekend. That means crews are not fully staffed. Utility companies will be scrambling. If you lose power Saturday night in northern Mississippi or Sunday in North Carolina, you might not get it back until the following weekend or later. So what do you do right now? If you are in any of the ice zones, finalize your preparations today, not tomorrow. Today. Here is your checklist. Fill up your gas tank. If the power goes out, gas stations cannot pump fuel. Get cash. ATMs do not work without power. Stock up on non-perishable food and bottled water. You need at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for 7 days. Get batteries, flashlights, and candles. If you have a generator, test it now. Make sure you have enough fuel. Charge all your devices. Charge your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your backup batteries, everything. Check on your neighbors, especially elderly neighbors. Make sure they are prepared. Bring your pets inside. Do not leave animals outside in these conditions. If you are in the heavy snow zones, you have a different set of challenges, but they are still serious. Make sure you have a snow shovel and ice melt. Stock up on food so you do not have to drive. If you have a fireplace, stock up on firewood. Make sure your car has an emergency kit, blankets, snacks, water, a flashlight, and a phone charger. And here is the big picture that nobody is talking about. This storm is a preview of our new reality. Climate patterns are shifting. Weather extremes are becoming more common. Storms that used to happen once every 20 years are now happening once every 5 years. You need to be prepared not just for this storm, but for the next one and the one after that. Right now, drop a comment with your city and state. Tell me where you are watching from, and I will give you the most specific forecast I can for your location. We are building a community here, and we are all in this together. At the 3-minute 20-second mark, I promised you the best part, and here it is. The Northeast is about to see something special. If you love snow, if you have been waiting years for a real winter storm, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, and Boston, this is your moment. 15 to 18 inches of snow. Kids will be sledding, adults will be shoveling, and everyone will remember this storm for years. But even in the snow, there are dangers. Heart attacks spike during and after major snowstorms because people overexert themselves shoveling. If you are over 50, take breaks. Do not try to clear your entire driveway in one session. Pace yourself. And here is a detail most people miss. After the snow stops, temperatures are going to crash. We are talking about brutal cold Monday night into Tuesday. Wind chills could drop below 0 in many areas. That means if you lose power in the ice zones, you are facing a life-threatening situation. Hypothermia becomes a real risk. So let me say this clearly. If you are in northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, northern Mississippi, western Tennessee, or the Carolinas and Virginia in those ice zones, and you have the ability to leave, consider it. Go stay with family or friends in an area that is not getting ice. This is not an overreaction. This is a reasonable response to a dangerous situation. Now let me address something important. Some of you are reading this and thinking, why should I trust this forecast? Weather forecasters are always wrong. Here is the truth. Forecasting is hard, especially in certain areas. The coastal Northeast is notoriously difficult because so many atmospheric factors come into play. The Atlantic Ocean, the Great Lakes, high pressure from Canada, moisture from the Gulf, the Appalachian Mountains, everything converges and makes forecasting a nightmare. But here is what we know with high confidence. A major winter storm is coming. The ice zones are well established. The snow zones are well established. The exact amounts might shift 20 miles north or south, but the overall pattern is locked in. And that brings me to the critical mindset you need right now. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. If the forecast shifts and you get less ice or less snow than expected, great, you have extra food and supplies. But if the forecast verifies and you are not prepared, you are in serious trouble. Let me tell you what is going to happen Saturday night and Sunday. Social media is going to light up with photos of ice-covered trees, videos of transformers exploding, and reports of widespread power outages. News channels are going to run non-stop coverage, and millions of Americans are going to be sitting in the dark, cold, wishing they had prepared better. Do not be that person. Be the person who prepared. Be the person who helped their neighbors. Be the person who stayed safe. Now, let me give you the update on model trends. As of Thursday, January 22nd, we are seeing some models shift slightly south after a big northward shift earlier. This is normal. Storms wobble, forecasts adjust, but the core message remains the same. Historic ice in 2 zones, massive snow from the plains to New England. Tomorrow, Friday, we will have the final forecast. We will lock in numbers. We will pick the model that seems most accurate and give you definitive snow and ice totals. But do not wait until tomorrow to prepare. Prepare today, and here is your teaser for what is coming next. After this storm clears out Tuesday, we are tracking another system for next weekend. It is too early to know details, but the pattern remains active. Winter is not done with us yet, so subscribe, follow, and stay connected because we are going to be covering every storm, every update, every detail you need to stay safe. One more time, comment below with your city and state. Let me know where you are, and let us build the most informed weather community in America. Share this with your friends and family in the affected areas. Make sure everyone you know is prepared. This storm is not a joke. This storm is not hype. This is real, it is dangerous, and it is coming. But if you prepare now, if you take this seriously, you will get through it. We all will. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next update. Now let me talk about the economic impact of this storm. We are looking at billions of dollars in damages. When you have over a half-inch of ice accumulation across multiple states, the infrastructure damage is staggering. Power lines do not just need simple repairs. In many cases, entire sections need to be rebuilt. Utility poles snap. Transformers are destroyed. This is not a 2-day fix. This is a 2-week project in some areas. And think about the supply chain disruptions. Major highways will be shut down. Interstate 40, Interstate 20, Interstate 85, these critical corridors will be impassable in sections. Trucks cannot deliver goods. Grocery stores run out of supplies. Amazon cannot deliver packages. The ripple effects last for weeks. But here is something positive. Communities come together during disasters. Neighbors help neighbors. People check on elderly residents. Strangers pull cars out of ditches. Churches open as warming centers. This storm will bring out the best in people, even as it brings out the worst in weather. Let me also address travel. If you have flights scheduled for Saturday, Sunday, or Monday out of any airport from Dallas to Boston, expect cancellations. Major hubs like Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington Dulles, Philadelphia, Newark, and Boston Logan will see hundreds of canceled flights. Do not even try to drive on Saturday or Sunday if you are in the ice zones or heavy snow zones. It is not worth the risk. For those of you who work in healthcare, emergency services, or utilities, you are the heroes of this storm. While everyone else shelters in place, you will be out there keeping people alive and safe. Make sure you have backup plans. Make sure your family is prepared. And thank you for your service. Let me also talk about pets and livestock. If you have horses, cattle, chickens, bring them into sheltered areas. Make sure they have unfrozen water. Ice storms are deadly for animals. Dogs and cats need to be inside. Do not leave them outside, even in doghouses. The cold after this storm will be brutal. For people with medical conditions, make sure you have enough medication to last at least 2 weeks. If you rely on electricity for medical equipment, have a backup power plan. Contact your power company ahead of time and let them know you have medical needs. They often prioritize these customers during restoration. Schools will be closed Monday and possibly Tuesday in most affected areas. Parents, plan for childcare. Plan for activities to keep kids busy without power. Board games, books, puzzles, these old-school entertainment options become valuable when the power is out. And here is a critical safety tip. If you lose power and you are using a generator, never run it inside your house, garage, or any enclosed space. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people during every major storm. Generators must be outside at least 20 feet from any window or door. If you are using candles for light, never leave them unattended. House fires spike during power outages because people are using candles and they forget about them or fall asleep. Have flashlights and battery-powered lanterns as safer alternatives. For those in ice zones, understand that driving is not just difficult, it is nearly impossible. Even with four-wheel drive, even with chains, ice is ice. You cannot get traction. Do not be the person who thinks they can make it and ends up in a ditch or worse, in a hospital. And here is a reality check about power restoration. Utility companies will prioritize critical infrastructure first. Hospitals, water treatment plants, emergency services. Then they work on lines that serve the most customers. If you are on a rural road with only a few houses, you might be last in line for restoration. This is not personal, it is practical. They fix what helps the most people first. So for rural residents in the ice zones, you need to be especially prepared for extended outages. Have a week's worth of food and water minimum. Have alternative heating sources. Have a way to cook food without electricity. This is serious preparation, not fear-mongering. Now let me talk about mental health during extended outages. Being without power for a week in winter is stressful. It is dark, it is cold, it is isolating. Check in with family members, play games together, tell stories, keep spirits up. Depression and anxiety can creep in during these situations. Take care of your mental health as well as your physical safety. For senior citizens, this storm is particularly dangerous. If you are over 65 and you are in an ice zone, strongly consider staying with family in an unaffected area. Hypothermia risk increases with age. Falls on ice are more dangerous. Power outages are harder to cope with. There is no shame in evacuating to safety. And parents, talk to your kids about this storm. Explain what is happening in age-appropriate ways. Make it an adventure, not a catastrophe. Kids pick up on adult anxiety, so stay calm. Make preparations fun. Let them help pack emergency supplies. Give them flashlights and make it exciting. Let me also address food safety during power outages. Your refrigerator will keep food cold for about 4 hours without power if you keep the door closed. After that, food safety becomes questionable. Your freezer stays cold for about 48 hours if you keep it closed. But in extended outages, you will lose frozen food. Plan accordingly. Eat perishables first, then move to non-perishables. And here is a money-saving tip. Many homeowner insurance policies cover food loss during power outages. Take photos of your freezer contents before the storm. If you lose power for extended periods, document everything and file a claim. Some policies will reimburse you for hundreds of dollars in lost food. For small business owners in affected areas, this storm will hurt. Lost business days, potential property damage, lost inventory, these costs add up. Check your business insurance, document everything, and consider reaching out to your local small business administration for disaster assistance if damages are severe. Community resources will be available. Red Cross will set up shelters. Churches and community centers will become warming centers. Do not be too proud to use these resources if you need them. They exist for situations exactly like this. And finally, let me talk about the recovery. This storm will end, the snow will melt, the ice will thaw, power will be restored, life will return to normal. But it will take time. Be patient with utility crews, be patient with road crews, be patient with your neighbors. We are all in this together. The forecast models have been remarkably consistent for the past 24 hours, which gives us high confidence. The European model, the American GFS model, the Canadian model, they all show similar solutions. This agreement is rare, and it means we can trust these forecasts more than usual. One final note on timing. The worst conditions will be Saturday night into Sunday. This is when the ice is accumulating, when the snow is heaviest, when roads are most dangerous. If you absolutely must travel, do it Friday before the storm arrives. Do not wait until Saturday morning thinking you can beat it. You cannot. And remember, this is a forecast. Small shifts in storm track can change local impacts significantly. A 20-mile shift north or south can be the difference between 6 inches of snow and 2 inches of sleet. That is why I will be updating constantly. That is why you need to stay connected to reliable weather information. Turn on notifications, check back frequently, and most importantly, comment below with your location so we can give you the most specific forecast possible. We have built an incredible community here, and together we will